First on the agenda is the Route 44 development. I don't think we have any, do we have any updates from Route 44?
Well, I did not come for that purpose, but I will say that
Well, you know.
the fire chief and on behalf of the town and the developer Hillwood are getting close to some agreement on such things as water needs, water capacity, water storage.
Okay.
Nothing has been solidified yet, but there's the two pieces are, number one, some agreement on those pieces. The second one is what's the legal instrument, what type of legal document is necessary to have in place in order, to the extent that we get to a town meeting with some zoning changes requested. Well, town meeting has to be, well, public officials, and then town meeting has to be convinced that whatever agreement's in place does indeed protect the town sufficiently. So those are the two pieces, but hopefully we're getting closer with the developer on agreeing to such things as storage capacity and needs.
Yep. So I will add that the gentleman from Hillwood, I forget his name.
Was it Mr. Bootsy? Let's see, what Mac? Let's see.
Not Mac Utsi.
Was it Mac?
Yeah, it wasn't Mac. One of them reached out to me today, wants to meet at a future meeting with the district.
Okay.
No, that's not the one either.
Well, Mac Bootsy.
No, that's not the one either.
The one that we've been dealing with.
So much for business.
No.
I mean, they come and they hand out the business.
Well, no. I might have it here in this pile of papers somewhere, but I haven't responded to him yet. But they're interested in meeting with the Water Commission, you know, sometime in January, and that was.
Enjoy that.
Yes, we certainly will.
Wasn't George?
Wasn't George McLaughlin?
No, he's not with Hillwood. He's with the Route 44 development group. This was Hillwood specifically, and again, I have his email. I'll send back and tell him yes, we'll meet next month. Other than that, discussion Montello Street seems to be moving forward, so that's good news.
Yes, it seemed like for a long time there were things happening, but most of it was planning and inspections. But now it's actually, you can see visually what's going on up there. They're still they're looking to get a lot done, obviously, by winter. But there's been a little bit of a holdup in terms of getting supplies and getting pipes, etc.
No surprises there.
So that's been a little bit of the holdup, but at least they're now underway.
They did tie into the main. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Last week I passed and they had the
I was there for
the trench open, so
So they tied in. I think when I went by today and I talked to Dave, I think they are all the way out, like to where Montello originally is.
And I'm sorry, who did you say?
Steve, I've Swiss Small Water Systems.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I'm sorry. I should have introduced everyone.
I'm sorry, Steve.
My apologies. I should have done that first.
Prior gentleman who was here forever.
Mike Wallen.
Mike Wallen.
He's one of my operators.
Okay, that's who I've forgotten.
But he's out on. He's still out on injury or
he's had to have his knees scoped and
she's the one I've known for 15
correct,
plus years.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're Dave's replacement.
I am.
We never met Dave.
That makes sense.
He never came to a meeting.
I am here.
I'm impressed.
Welcome. Apparently. Okay.
Because you've only been on like a month, right?
Like a month and a half.
Yeah.
That's why he's here.
I'm very impressed.
No, I come down here 2 or 3 times a week. Okay. I do all your visits.
Why does this gentleman know more than I do about this? It's yours right now.
That's right.
I had talked to Dave at PA Landers, and he had told me about it, and I said I wanted to be there when he cut open the main and tied in, so I was there for that process, and I did take pictures if you guys needed them or wanted them.
Okay. Well, I assumed that somebody from Swiss would be supervising that.
Yep.
I've known Deb and Bruce for a long time, and they're good people.
Yes.
So I know they run their business the right way. So, okay, so I guess that's it for Montello. Have there been any updates on the Santana Way? Do you know about Santana Way?
So, when I got the agenda for today's meeting, I guessed that was the street. So I was talking to Kevin
Forge
about it.
Yep.
He never told me a street name.
Okay.
and I didn't know, whatever, it's not my business really.
Okay.
And I had meters all ready for him. He said he needed 6 meters to start.
Okay.
Just waiting for him to sign the quote, and I can have him, I mean, if I had it here and you guys signed it, I'd have him up here tomorrow for you guys.
Okay.
Why is Kevin involved with Santana Way?
I'm not sure. Do you mean Plymouth Street or Santana Way?
Whichever one has the issues from the
He's
dump.
talking about.
That would be Plymouth Street.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
Plymouth Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about
Santana
Kevin.
Way is an over 55 on the other side of 58,
Okay,
which is also Plymouth Street.
okay.
And 2 months ago, well, shall I give him a little brief on it?
I know nothing about that.
There's like
so.
32. There's like 32 condos.
That's the new one on the left?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's built 15 of them. He was a little unpleased with what we wanted for money from him, and he said he was going to put in his own wells on the right side, but then he never followed up on it. He paid for 15 connections. Those are on the left side.
Yeah.
And 2 months ago, I was concerned. I live in the neighborhood that abuts it.
Yeah,
And I was concerned that I saw some painters up there painting on the right side, which are the new ones that are unoccupied. And my question
do you
to
think he
David,
legally tapped in?
my question to David was,
Well, we're wondering if he hasn't done the wells.
has he done
Yeah.
done the wells?
Yep.
And the Board of Health just didn't let us know that the right side's going to be well water, or has he
There's ways to check.
has he
Right.
tapped into the water?
I mean, you can shut the main off going there, and then see if he has water over there. Or, I mean, it's a condo fee, you can just take a walk and see if you can find a well.
Because I don't want to
Ways to figure
affect.
it out.
I don't want to affect the 15 owners on the left side
Right.
that have already. They bought, they paid, they've moved in, they've got their meters. In fact, most of them, I think, have gotten bills. It's the right side. It's the right side that I'm curious about. Where are they getting? Where are the painters getting the water to clean their brushes?
So we can just something, if you could take a look at that
Yeah,
and see what's
definitely.
going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to the permitting department, they use town water as plumbing permits. And they should.
But if they had the building already plumbed,
Exactly.
where did they tie,
Exactly.
where did they tie their water
The
into?
plumbing inspector still have to look at that. That's what I'm
Should.
saying. Yeah.
Because he was forced to put the pipe in. The pipe is in.
Right.
Yeah, the water main exists.
Before the incident happened, all the pipe was in for all 32. I mean, as far as the street goes, and that's. I mean, I'm not a wizard in this stuff, but I mean, I don't think it would be very difficult to just dig a hole, tap into the water without a meter, and get free water.
Right, yeah.
Didn't he want to originally
And that's
put
what.
that in Millbrook?
And that's
Didn't he want to try to get
what my
Millbrook
question to
on?
David was 2 months
I
ago.
don't believe so.
I thought in
It's-
the beginning he
yeah.
was talking about trying to pull Middleborough water.
It's kind of a long pull. Okay, so anyway, just some update for you on that. Okay, so we're gonna go into FY23 budget, which is why almost everybody's here.
Okay.
Do you want to give Steve the good news?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I already looked and saw it.
Yeah, but what you don't know is how much money do we have in the bank? Take a guess.
I'll bet you it's a negative number.
Not even close.
It shows negative, that's only because it's below the line, so if it's a liability, it's automatically gonna show a negative number.
Where did that come from?
That came from
It's the last page. second
that came from
Last page.
us
last-
not spending past our lines, unintended or unanticipated revenue, and just being fiscally responsible.
Well, I hate to say this to you, but I came on this board
This last one?
2 terms ago because you were $500,000 in the hole.
This is two.
It looks like my job's done, I can leave.
Something is for a betterment. but
You
there is
can't leave yet.
Okay.
That's amazing, that's an amazing number.
Yes,
So-
great number.
So, now, my thought, and this is what I've been trying to get everybody to do for the last few years, and the former director of finance and the former administrator would not allow us to use these funds. And I've had a discussion with Sue about this. The thought here is that we should take that portion of those funds and apply it toward that portion that belongs to this year's budget, the FY23 budget, and apply it as a way of reducing the need for subsidy, the free cash subsidy.
Which is our debt.
Yes, it is.
And I would have no problem with us using this money to satisfy our debt. And when I say our debt, I'm talking about our bonds and the debt that we have to the town for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
But also consider that we still have 29 years of debt service involved. So let's not.
I'm not saying I want to pay them back. I wouldn't have a problem.
Just grab the whole knot.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with us not taking
as much.
Well, no, if we've got this much, we only took 160,000 last year, didn't we?
It was 170.
So I mean, we should be able to give them back that 170 for this fiscal year.
I think FinCom would be thrilled if you could just do the 200 that we pick up on the bond.
Yeah, that's...
And you guys can have a party with the rest, but I think the 200 would be a huge help to the town's budget this year.
Now, you're talking about last fiscal year or this fiscal year?
No, FY23.
Right.
FY22 is
Last
done.
year was 200,000, the year before that was 250.
See,
And then it
exactly.
scaled down.
Exactly.
Okay, so what you're suggesting is we don't borrow any money from you for the next fiscal year, for 2023.
Right.
Right.
We don't ask town meeting to cover our debt.
Right.
We cover it.
Right. So we take that 200,000 out of our budget, and we'll make sure that it's known that this is not an ongoing thing. It's going to be year to year.
Okay.
You know, you're not getting locked into it, at least from FinCom's standpoint.
Okay.
We wouldn't lock you into it.
Okay.
We think it's a great thing that you could do it this year because you have the revenue. That's awesome. If in the future years, 2 years from now, you find yourself in a hole,
well,
of course the town is going to take care of that debt service.
We likely will if we take 200 out of that account. Then we still have some 30 years worth of debt service to satisfy.
And you have equipment that needs to be maintained.
Yes, we do.
You need to read the special legislation, because the special legislation is written in such a way that we are a separate entity from the town, just like an enterprise. But if we ever get, in the special, if we get in trouble,
we're here.
The town has to bail us out. So we don't even really get it. We have a choice of taking and taking care of our own debt. But if all this $500,000 goes away, and then we've got a debt payment the following fiscal year, let's say 2 years from now, guess what?
But we've done it in the past.
You own it.
Yes, you have.
You've done it every year that I've been
you
chair
own
of
it.
FinCom.
You own it again.
Right. No, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that.
Okay.
You know, this is a big help this year because we're in a little bit of a flux here coming off.
That's absolutely amazing.
So, also, if you look at the FY22 budget, the town actually subsidized the North Water Carver District for 170 for, it says projected shortfall plus 146,468. So you guys actually got over $300,000.
Plus the bond, right, which was 200.
But it all goes to the bond.
Yeah,
So we always talk
exactly.
about the bond being a subsidy, but it was beyond that.
This page here, the two bottom numbers, the 170 and the 146, is what the town subsidized you. And then turned around and charged you $76,000 for indirect costs you had to pay back to the general fund, which doesn't make any sense. We're giving you money and then we're taking money away.
Yeah, but I don't want to wipe out their reserve.
Yeah, as an enterprise fund, we are required to pay the town indirect costs.
Right, so if you look at, I did two different scenarios, one without indirect costs and one with. So if you do with indirect costs, which is the third page of the budget. So it says FY23, and you'll see that the projected shortfall of 231, 258. That is this one here.
Yeah, I see it.
So that is your debt for FY23, and you're still paying your indirect cost. You still have a projected revenue based on what your actual receipts came in. So last year, they projected that your betterment revenue was going to be 36,000. You actually came in at 117.
Okay, none of the money that the town subsidizes us now actually goes into the operating budget. It all goes into debt, correct?
Right, so, no, some of it goes into the operating budget.
That was a straight 200,000 that was in the regular budget last year for the North Carver Water District.
That's always the debt.
Yeah, so it was
just the debt.
170, yeah.
Yes.
However,
So that's not in addition to this, this is included in this number.
part.
So the 313 is part of the debt and then a subsidy to the North Carver Water District because the revenues were way understated. If you
So
look
where
at
did
this
the
revenue.
additional money come from? I remember seeing the line item that was $200,000 for the debt service. Where did the other $130,000 we gave them, what line item was that in? I don't recall that.
Must be in the budget.
I guess I'd have to bring the warrant down, but there's a portion under the debt service and there's a portion under the free cash.
Well, I'll tell you why.
So there's
We don't-
two places
Yeah, you
that
know
are
why
free.
we don't know about it? Because it's North Carver Water District and we never got involved in that. All we got was the debt service was in the general budget. There was nothing for us to argue.
Right.
Because it's like arguing over the school budget. There was nothing we could do about it
Exactly.
anyway. So it was one of those, almost a rubber stamp thing, because this was etched in stone. We never got into the rest of the operating costs because it was like an enterprise account.
Sure.
So that's why that's why I don't know anything about it.
Which is one reason why I have drawn you into this
I appreciate that.
quagmire.
And to the extent that there's an additional 130,000 or so that is being subsidized,
Yes,
again, 67,000 of that is indirect costs, which is somewhat
Correct.
of
it's
I'm not
a shell game.
Exact-
That's more a
yes.
shell game
Yes,
than actually.
exactly.
It's the other piece that is a subsidy. And what is that other piece?
I wouldn't be in
Where's that
favor of wiping the 552 out by taking this full amount of money, because they got pumps and infrastructure and...
Right, the way I see it
we
here
don't
is
know what else they do.
they don't have to touch that 552 unless they feel that they have a capital project that they need to do and take that money instead of creating more debt for themselves.
Okay.
Exactly, and that was Sue's other idea, is that we could do a second warrant article that would allow us to expend if we get a water main break, if one of the D pumps blows up, if we get a bacteria hit.
Right.
Something unforeseen that is something that wouldn't be covered in our budget,
Yeah,
that we could draw from that. If we don't need it, we don't use it, and it stays right where it is. The
So you don't have to go-
Warrant articles
the
specifically.
so we're
article
still gonna
dies
pay
on
the
June
town
30.
budget size, they're gonna have the 200 that we're gonna pay for the debt service?
Yeah, that remains. but
That's gonna stay in
other
that
would-
side, but the other additional funding would not.
Well,
Right.
the indirect costs
Well, the indirect
technically
costs
would,
here,
but it's kind of a shell game wash.
Yes,
We're not
So-
subsidizing that because we're actually getting it back.
right.
Okay.
right, but
So we're still gonna, in our budget, in the general government
The debt
budget,
service would be
we're
there.
gonna put the debt service, the 200,000 will stay in there.
But that's all,
that's it.
but that's all.
And then we could take a look at the indirect costs.
I haven't
because
seen the current
do-
budget.
Indirect costs is-
Do our
Okay.
facilities work
67,000
anything
indirect costs.
with you guys, like the O&M?
We'll take it.
Do they do anything for your department?
Yes.
Okay, because that's $31,000 of your
Yes.
indirect costs.
Yes,
So-
we use Jill in the planning and
Planning.
permitting. We use Dave Siedentoff in operations and maintenance. We use Kathy. We use
Okay, so that's
we
a
use
good
Amanda.
number
We
if you were-
use
We know
yes,
Dave has a lot to do with, with
yes, he
day-to-day,
does.
and we know, but Jill just pays bills, correct? She pays the
Yeah,
rent.
hers-
She
hers is only like
she puts together my agenda.
Okay, all right, so-
She puts together the bills payable. She doesn't do receivable anymore. That's Amanda takes care of receivables now.
Okay.
But we use you know, we use the departments in this town,
sure.
in the town hall
Okay.
that would be involved with
So again, in your
finance,
package.
finance,
your-
operations, and
your,
maintenance.
We should be,
Indirect.
we pay that and we should be paying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think what we
What's the
we forget
appropriate
that
amount?
what Jill also does for us is when Small Water Systems does work for you, and then they send the bill to you,
me?
and you, well, to the
Well,
town.
for the town,
To the
yes,
town.
absolutely.
See, Small Water Systems works for us, but they also work for the
Yeah,
town.
they do some.
So when they work for the town, sometimes the town sees Small Water Systems and sends the bill to Jill, and then Jill sends it to us.
Yeah,
And then we
have to
read the
kick it
bill
back again.
and go, whoa, 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 send this back to the town.
We do that sometimes.
So Jill also does that for us.
Okay.
You know, so she's watching. She's
So what is
she's
your
like
view?
she's almost like our
But
eyes
wouldn't there
in
be
the
a
town hall.
situation where one would know where the bill should go? I mean, if everything's just being sent to you, then
Well, I don't want to blame Small Water Systems.
just-
No, you wouldn't.
My question is what's the difference?
Exactly.
Well,
What
because they're-
he should be informed of is that job A is part of the North Carver Water District.
Right.
Job B is for the town of Carver.
So which one does the town take care
And
of?
never the two shall meet.
Like elementary school,
Yeah.
Yes,
Elementary
Municipal.
school, high school, middle high
Cranberry
school.
Village?
Sure.
correct.
The wall
Okay,
behind
right.
behind the town hall, right?
That's municipal.
That's municipal.
Yep.
And then you guys just are North Carver?
Just North Carver.
Okay, well, on our building side, I have that correct.
okay. Well, I'm just saying
I
that,
have
you know, when that comes into, you know, the planning department, you know, whether Jill or whomever,
Right.
that shouldn't be something that's forwarded to you. That should be something somebody can look at the bill and say, where does it go?
Right.
Instead of just
Exactly.
everything going to you and you gotta
Right.
figure it out.
Sometimes she emails me
Yeah.
and
You
asks
must
the
have
question.
jobs where some of your bills go to the school department versus the town versus the,
Yeah, I mean, on my
They break it
system,
up
I
into their
have
own budgets.
North Carver as its own, and then everything else goes to the town. So I have the schools
Yeah.
and Cranberry Village,
Right.
that all goes to you guys.
Right, and Dave sees.
and Dave straightens through, sure.
Yep,
Right.
and he keeps that straight.
Yeah.
Plus Jill does our permitting. Anytime
Sure.
somebody comes in for an application for something,
Mhm.
that's something that she handles.
Okay.
So, just
No,
to be
that's part
clear.
of the overall.
Yes,
indirect
yes it
cost.
is. Yes it is.
Okay.
And also in that packet, I provided you the debt schedule for
Oh, wow.
how many years to come.
How many years do we have?
2048 for one of them,
2048?
2046, and we just paid one off in 2021.
Yes, we did. Last year, we paid one off for the,
Now,
That's all.
we cut the tail bond off
his
last
or
year.
mine?
That's all yours. Did I give you a copy?
You didn't.
There
But
you go.
thanks,
That's your packet.
more papers.
So can I ask, just because I'm a little confused, because.
Yeah, not surprising.
You get what you pay for. So the whack to the general government budget is going to be nothing as far as we're, other than the debt service. Is that what we should
Right.
plan?
Well, yes, but there's this other piece that we subsidized.
But it's a
this year.
plus minus.
But, well, not all of it is, but that's the thing, is.
Right.
It's gonna be like $85,000 less that we're subsidizing
Yeah,
to their budget.
yeah,
Less is good.
right. But
So
the debt service is
85,000 less means you're looking at free cash of somewhere around 95?
well, yeah, I mean, I
9,500?
don't know that there's, yeah, because last year it was two pieces, one was the budget,
Yeah.
one was free cash.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
okay.
It's good.
that's real money,
Yeah, it
real
is.
money, you know.
So while FinCom's going to stick their nose in where it doesn't belong, where are we at with the quality of the pumps and so forth, infrastructure-wise?
That's you.
At North Carver?
Yeah, and within the water district, within the pump
Everything is good,
house.
so everything is good in North Carver. We have to rebuild a couple of the actuator motors, but that isn't a big deal. We already have the rebuild kits and stuff. Other than that, everything in North Carver is in good shape.
And all the testing's being done right, so we cannot believe Facebook, is that correct?
You cannot believe Facebook.
There's no doubt in my mind
We're,
you're going to say that.
we're fully compliant.
There's a lot of noise making because, you know, they
Say
come
the
out, you
water's
didn't test
awful.
this, you didn't test that, you did this, you know, it's just, it's hyperactivity.
That's why I don't have Facebook.
You know,
Me neither. I have no idea what Facebook is doing because I just don't go there.
The bottom line is that we're in full compliance.
You are.
I'm asking that question because it's on video, so that everybody can hear us saying that we are in full
I am
compliance.
100% in compliance.
I am
And the
100%
rock throwers can
confident.
all go home and stay there.
Right. I am
Thank you.
100% confident that Small Water Systems is keeping North Carver Water District as well as the entire town of Carver
Thank you.
compliant with all DEP regulations, every single one of them.
Thank you.
Okay. I've never had any question about that.
No, I don't think most of us have.
I'm just saying.
But there are.
I know.
There's a couple.
There are.
We ignore rumors.
Sorry?
We ignore rumors.
Yeah, but you can't.
God bless you. You know, in the
You
good old
can't.
days, you could do that.
Yeah,
Today's day and
yeah,
age,
it's not.
social media can grow legs of its own.
Yeah, and it goes
it'll actually
sideways, and it goes
pass you going down
sideways
the
so
highway.
fast.
It's just crazy.
Yep.
I've been dealing, I moved to town in '87, right? I've had a job with the town of Carver, either appointed or elected, since December of 1988. And I'll tell you, during that time, I have developed very tough skin.
And you've also learned that no good deed ever goes unpunished.
And when I hear the rumors, they just go that way.
What are they on, the town, like, Facebook page?
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, mostly. It's,
You got
Like I say, you
Or-
could post the results from the lab.
Well, not the town's Facebook, but the,
yeah,
No, it's on a
exactly.
couple of pages, and it's funny, Andrew Wilcox calls them ankle biters. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay. Anything else on the budget?
The last thing was the 279 that we were talking about for the water betterment stabilization account.
Yes.
I don't know what that is set up for. Is it set up for future betterments?
No, it is the prepayment as in 2000, I think 11 or 12, there was a series of properties that were issued betterments, special assessments by the North Carver Water District. The special assessment was the people who got those were capable of paying them over time with interest, or you could pay it up front and be done with it. The money that's in that account are people who have paid up front and are done with their betterments, which is why the betterments tend to be on a declining scale, because as people pay them off, they no longer have a betterment.
So that fund keeps going up. They're paying
Yes.
into the North Carver Water District,
Yes,
and if they prepaid, it goes into this fund.
the betterment stabilization account,
But
which
it's not reducing your debt.
no, exactly,
just-
which is why.
Well, because
That-
that's been
which-
another 29 years.
Right, so the way I see it is if you paid your betterment off early, we should either do a prepayment on the betterment debt, or this
We're
money-
not allowed to do prepayments.
Okay, so at
Okay.
the end of all of this, these people, so we're paying,
Again,
putting money in here to pay that debt, and at the end of the day, when that last payment, or the last couple of years, will
Right.
come out of here.
in future time.
Okay.
Or,
If you
again,
wipe that out, when we
Which I don't want to do, I just want to understand.
yeah,
Right.
If you wipe that out, when we get down here, the burden's going to be put back on the taxpayers.
Got it.
Because that's not there to go towards the debt.
All right.
Right.
And the
Now, I don't-
confusing part is last year only $7,000 went into this. This
Right.
year it's $60,000.
yeah, exactly.
So it's just a
And
matter
it all depends
who
on.
decides they want to pay ahead of time.
Exactly. And in my opinion, and this has always been my opinion, that portion of that account, which belongs to this year's debt, should go into this year's,
Right, if
budget.
somebody prepaid, it should.
I'm just saying, 1/29th of whatever's
Well, it
in that
can, because
account
you can-
should be put into this year's,
debt.
should be put into this year's
Yeah,
budget for the
accounting
purpose,
So
for the purposes
instead of
of,
subsidizing them X amount for the debt, they use a portion of whoever prepaid, but they're holding on to it instead, so
Right.
at the end of the borrowing in 2040,
Well, that's what
2028.
we were told to do. That's not my opinion.
No.
Yeah.
My opinion is always.
It's weird to me.
We've always,
In the year that it's prepaid for, it should be offset the debt already. Yes.
That for
Sounds fairly.
if there's 29, like
for
I said,
that
if there's
portion
29 years of
belongs
debt
to
left,
this year.
why aren't we taking 129 out of that, the prepaid, and putting it towards the debt?
I'm trying to get away from that free cash subsidy.
It would require,
Desperately trying to get away from that.
Why do we do
require more work on the
did that
town's
happen?
end.
Michael,
'cause I don't remember
Michael said
that.
no.
Okay. all right, just
Michael
curious.
said no. Michael and Meg said no.
No.
Yeah.
Both of which aren't here anymore.
No.
So why don't we look at maybe taking the betterment and doing exactly what is the recommendation, and let's look into that.
Thank you.
Because that makes a lot more sense to me.
Thank you.
For the
Because we'll all be dead by the time this thing is paid
Next- For the
off.
next 3 weeks, Stu, Rick, and Alan say yes. Is that fair enough?
It works for me.
Okay, so if we get this all done by
That'd be great.
Yeah.
the time January rolls around, we
Yeah,
can.
Because that puts an even bigger star in the warrant article for.
China-
for
China-
No,
Yeah.
that's very good. I mean,
Okay.
I know you
That's a
guys, I know
good idea.
certainly
I like
Steve
it.
understands that.
Well, it makes sense. I think Steve's 100% right. It makes sense.
When I was asked to come on this, it wasn't because I was into water. It was because they gave away $850,000 in betterments, the commissioners did, and then bailed. And the account was in a $650,000 negative. Everything. It was like, it was a whole major
It was a party.
fiasco financially.
It
So somebody came to me, and I don't remember who it was.
I don't know.
I'm sure you were part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure I was.
They said, you know, can you come and help the water commissioners on the financial side? And that's basically what I've been learning a lot about. This is, I think, my third term, but I've been trying to watch how we spend, what we do.
How long were you a treasure collector, Steve?
12 years.
Was it really? Wow, it's a
Yeah.
long time, okay.
Yeah, 12 years. But if you remember, I was a money person, I went after the money. Let's not spend the money, let's get the money. I was on the finance committee for like 9 years.
No kidding.
But,
I'm just a newbie. I'm on the
He's got mileage.
so I wasn't kidding when I said earlier in the meeting. I came on because I believed in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the treasurer when we bought the land, and we decided to do this. And I wanted a golf course. And
He did.
I wanted a golf.
He wanted to turn the coal property into
I
golf
wanted a
course.
golf course. That's when I originally
Get
looked at it.
realistic here.
Yeah,
So
that's what he wanted to do with it.
I'm absolutely happy that, to find out that we've got this money.
Yeah.
And that there's a possibility
I was pleased
for us
as
to
well.
go in a new direction.
Yeah, this is great, because it's always been, since I've been on FinCom, the North Carver Water District has always been the
something of a sticking
red-headed
point.
stepchild.
Yeah,
It's always
yeah.
been the cross we have to bear.
Yeah.
And this is great to see
You don't.
this.
You don't need to tell me I was the red-headed stepchild. Yes, I know.
I think we'd be kidding with this kind of.
Can I speak to this?
Terminology.
Allowed to. So, Mr. Tom, Dick, and Harry. Is anyone here connected to the North Carver Water District? Are you
When you say connected,
connected to it? Are you a customer?
no,
Is there a customer here?
no.
I am going to be.
Okay.
Kicking and screaming. When I hear that word betterment, okay, I want to throw my 2 cents worth in.
Okay.
I am going to be hooked up due to water contamination of my well. You know it, everyone here does. My belief is, okay, I was not part of all this when the district was first created. But my understanding is, knowing a lot of people in town in the 12 years I've been here, it was created due to another contamination. Okay? So when I hear this term betterment, it is not a betterment, okay, by the definition. My property is worth more not having to pay a water bill, having a private well. So weren't the people prior to me moving here, or just when I moved here. That term thrown around, one of my wife's first acquaintances when she moved to town was part of this getting that betterment fee. And they were being told at the time it was going to be like $60,000, $70,000 because the town screwed up by not having the system paid for by a developer where this new development is going. And it fell on those few customers. That's when the town bailed it out. So please, be careful about this term betterment. It is not. It is going to cost me more money when I tie into your system than running my own damn well. Excuse my language.
But there's no charge for that hookup, am I correct? I just want to make sure that...
But I am going to be paying a water bill.
Yes, you will. But there's no charge to you to hook up and connect.
Please hear me out. I am a licensed plumber. I've been in my house for 12 years. I have had to replace my well pump once. It cost me about $250. This past year, I did my expansion tank. That was about $150. Other than that, I got a minuscule electrical bill to run a 110 pump. My water bill is going to be more. The water bill, not the hookup. I don't even want the darn hookup. That's my point. Because it's cheaper for me to run my own private well, which I no longer can run. And you dare call that a betterment? Now, I know I'm not getting charged a betterment, but in the past it was. People had to hook up because they had contaminated water in the past. That's how it was explained to me through the history of all this. I moved into town just when this was boiling. My first town meeting was the, if you will, the bailout because people didn't do their due diligence and put this system in, and they thought that a private entity was going to pay for it. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know all the names and players and the companies, but I know that to be true because I was at the town meeting. So here we are now, we're talking about, you know, this is what North Carver Water District pays and this is the town's responsibility. I'm sorry, it's the town's responsibility, period. You know, I mean, I've never heard at any of these meetings that, like, you got customers. And I get it, it's, you know, money, and I know, you know, you gotta pay your bills. But I never hear anything about our customers. It's always about, you know, having to pay this, having to pay that. It's like, you got customers to serve, you know? And that's my 2 cents, in a very roundabout way. But, you know, worrying about where these betterments and, you know, all that, I mean, heck, we got private companies that just built on Plymouth Street, or excuse me, on Main Street. It was cheaper to drive private wells for commercial property than to tie into the North Carver Water District. And those were like $50,000 a pop. That's criminal. You would think you'd want to make it so that they would want to tie in, so you have more paying customers. People don't want to tie in because it's too darn expensive. Now, tell me I'm wrong.
I have a different picture, but my picture is more of the financial end of it.
I understand that.
We had to buy the land, so we had to borrow that money.
Yep.
We had to build the plant. We had to borrow that money.
Yep.
We had to lay pipe that wasn't already laid.
Yep.
We had to borrow that money.
Yep.
Now, when we did the initial hookups, we couldn't take all that money and divide it amongst 100 people. We had to say, okay, we're gonna shoot for 100,000 gallons now, but we're gonna build a plant for 250,000 gallons. So that when people later down the road want water, that they are paying for some of that plant. Because the plant's not paid for.
I understand that.
So when I look at it, I think of when we charge this like Santana Way. I think that what he's paying is for the part of the plant that we never billed anybody for. That the water's got to run through that plant. The actual bill, the actual quarterly bill, that pays the operating. So that pays for the plant, the tests, the chemicals, the labor. And this one-time payment is really going towards what we owe on the plant. Now,
I understand
I'm not aware of your situation, because nobody's briefed, I haven't been briefed on, they're not gonna pay a betterment, our users, they're not gonna, all they're
So
gonna get
Plymouth
is a,
Street is not gonna pay a single dime to have the hookup.
all they're gonna do is they're gonna get a bill.
They're gonna get a bill, but the problem comes in, and Mike hit on it, and this is really DEP, not us. The problem comes in, because I was involved in the beginning with this project. In order to hook up the town water, you have to shut the well off. You have to decommission the well. There were people that came in and said, well, why can't I make the well just do my irrigation? Well, the problem is that the water is supposed to have unsafe levels of toxins, so now you can't take that water and water your garden with it and then eat the vegetables in your garden while saying, I need to have clean water for my house, so I want the water line to be plugged in from the street. So require the decommissioning of the well. And Mike's 100% right. It's less expensive to run a well pump than it is to get water from the town water. That's just simple math. But part of that whole arrangement in the very beginning was, and I think it was you and I talked about it one day when I said there can't be any betterment, there can't be any charges, there can't be any connection fees, there can't be anything. This should have been done 10 years ago.
Should have been.
And you know, these people deserve to have this connection made up, but they should pay for the water they're going to get, because some came in and said we should get free water forever, and I said it should rain from heaven that way, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
So, you know, we'll do all the work here, but you still got to pay the water bill. But I still think you're right. I think it's 10 years too late. And from looking at it from your angle, I see where you're coming from with it's not really a betterment because it was the town's obligation to hook up those other houses also. So I think that's where you're getting at.
But there's two different things here. There's a betterment and there's a water bill.
No, I understand that, okay? I'm in this business, okay? I have built water treatment plants. I have built sewage treatment plants. I have built power plants. I'm a licensed pipe fitter, a licensed plumber. I know the business, and I understand that this is a financial thing. I get that. You're right about that, but that is not what I am referring to. I'm referring to the North Carver Water District versus the town. The town helped create this problem by mismanagement 12, 15 years ago.
20 years ago.
Okay? So again, when I hear the term and I'm not talking me, I understand I personally am not paying the betterment, okay? I'm not paying a tie-in fee. I'm not paying for I didn't pay for the water main directly, okay? My point is this, you're using the term betterment. There is no one receiving town water where it is a true betterment by the definition, which when you look it up is, if you own a piece of property and someone other than the owner does something to increase the value of your property, that is a betterment. This doesn't increase anyone's value, because in Carver, one of the reasons why people like it is they don't have to pay a water bill or a betterment. They got their own private well, and they do as they please. Okay, that's my point, not this issue. Okay. It goes further back. That's all I'm saying.
The betterment was to lay the pipe, to build the plant. So when we built the plant and we laid the pipe and we drilled under the Weewanick River, not everybody hooked up. The pipe ran across a lot of people's front properties, and they were given a choice. Would you like to hook up? If they hooked up, then they were asked to pay a betterment for the cost of the pipe and the plant.
I understand.
If they did not hook up, they were not charged a betterment.
No.
So at some point, what we had to do is we had to set it up in such a way that if you said no, I'm not hooking up, we still ran the pipe in front of your house. But if you came back 20 years later and said, hey, this town water right out the street, why can't I hook up? Then you've got to pay for that pipe. You either pay for it now or you pay for it later. Not you. I'm talking about the people who did not hook up to the water when we built the system.
And that's standard operating procedure in every development.
I understand that, but the people that are paying for the water most of them do not want it. They didn't, the people that are already on it, and again, I'm hijacked the meeting, and I'm gonna just shut up now. Because that was not my intent, because I don't think you and I are you're not understanding what my point is, okay? When you go back to when the town put this in, it was, we were gonna get water from the town of Middleborough, which we did for a while, that fell through, okay? A lot of the reason why the people in North Carver, had to buy the property, sink the wells, drive the pipe underneath what you were talking about was, you were forced to. Because the people that were gonna pay for it, a private developer that was gonna build this water system, never did. That fell through, and then everyone was left holding the bag.
Who was this private developer?
The big three.
Yeah, but was that...
Caprianato,
Right.
KGI,
Yep.
Right.
Waterstone.
But their interest was more commercial.
Yes,
Obviously.
yes,
and
absolutely.
that was
Yes,
limited-
absolutely.
Limited in its capacity.
Yes, it
anyway.
was. Yes, it was.
But I
Absolutely.
think, for the people watching and listening to this, the origin of this problem goes back before the 80s.
Yes,
When
yes,
the
it
contamination of
does.
North Carver
Yes, it
landfill,
does.
which no one in this room had anything to do with. I
Nope,
think anyone
not
that
me.
had anything to do with this is probably deceased. I just wouldn't want anyone to get the impression that somehow...
I was a teenager back
Yeah,
then.
so there was some
Yeah.
sort of...
So it is your fault.
The
Yeah,
town
it
certainly bears a responsibility, and this may sound, really self-serving for all of us.
Somewhat, yeah.
But this problem was caused, probably before I was born, and when Kevin was a
This is the
teenager.
sin of our fathers.
That's right, so...
You mean I'm older
just
than
to,
you?
But, you're
understand
right,
that.
you're right, yeah.
Again,
No,
I didn't want to hijack the meeting, when
No,
I hear
it's
that
different
term
perspective.
betterment and how it's used as someone
make
who's
a
going
point.
to have
Sure.
to tie into this.
Okay, one last comment from Steve. And then we're
When
gonna
when we
move on.
initially started this, there were two routes to go. And the two routes to go were, the town could take care of Lakenham Drive, right? And the United States government could take care of all the wells they polluted on Plymouth Street, right? From the Ravenbrook landfill. Now, option one was that the United States government and the town of Carver build a plant to just supply water to those people who had the polluted wells.
which made no
That was step one. Now, the government and the town would have paid for everything. Then all you would have had to do is go through the treasurer's office and bill, off of the meters. Done, done deal.
But nobody else could connect to it.
No, you're done. You're done. And
Makes no
the
sense.
United States government, and then there was option two. And option two is that, I just happened to be on the North Carver Industrial Development Commission
Yeah.
and the Business Development Commission at the same time, and we came up with this idea, hey, if we're gonna build a plant, and we only have to build a plant for 30,000 gallons, let's build a plant for 250,000 gallons.
waste of money.
Let's find out what the DEP will let us, do. And this was, oh God, it took years and years and years
Yep.
to put the numbers together.
Yep.
And the battle plan was, hey, if we're gonna have to do it, let's make some money out of it. So the North Carver Industrial Park needed water. Shaw's wasn't built yet, they were gonna need water. CVS was not built yet, they were gonna need water. McDonald's was gonna need water. So there was a consensus, and I think town meeting voted in the affirmative. This was before special legislation. And we said, let's build that plant.
2006.
Let's build that plant.
Yeah.
And we did. Unfortunately, there were some roadblocks
Just a couple.
along the way. And to help this gentleman out, to help this,
All the way down Main Street?
to help, no, we tried.
There never was a plan to
So
go all the
as
way
far
down
as
Main
what,
Street.
Forest?
Right now, it currently ends
At Lillian. Lillian.
Yeah, Lillian. Yeah.
And the Plymouth line,
Yeah.
and the Middleborough line, and that new strain on Plymouth Street.
Yeah.
But I have some theories of the polluted wells, and one of my theories is that you just can't give everybody free water. But I could see giving them, we have a minimum usage, and I could see giving the wells that the town polluted, the minimum that you can draw off the water for free. But if you're going to run a car wash on a Sunday, then I think that everything from the minimum to what your meter says, you should pay us at whatever our scale is. And this is something we haven't had an opportunity to talk about.
We haven't.
We haven't talked about it.
Yeah, we haven't discussed
But it's
that.
something that I've been sitting at home, twiddling my thumbs, thinking about. That, you know, it's not super fair to pollute your well and then make you pay for the water. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not paying for the pipe, you're not gonna pay for the hookup. And if you get the minimum water usage, and I don't have my book with me, but it's a lot of water.
Not off the top of my head.
It's a lot of water. It's enough.
1,000 cubic feet or something.
It's enough water. I think we did the math, and it's enough water for a husband and wife to live on, you know, to use like 3 times over a quarterly. So that's something we need to talk about. The 3 commissioners, and we obviously have to talk about it with the select board, and I think it's going to have to be approved by town meeting because it's not in our special legislation to give away free water.
It's not.
I'm not sure you can.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can either.
And that's so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we're delving with something that we
I
haven't.
think we're required to issue bills, and I think that's part of it.
You know, if you think you're gonna get special legislation, you're talking about a couple of years down the road.
Yeah.
And I think there's maybe a different approach to that to accomplish the same thing that doesn't, you know,
You might be able to get away with reducing the billing cost to the minimum, something like that. You know,
But I
even
think
if it cuts
that's-
down to $1, it's gotta be a bill.
Yeah, but you just can't give them free water.
With assistance
I'd just
from
be
the
cautious
select
too in
board.
terms of,
People will be
Yeah.
doing car washes on Sundays.
sticking
Oh,
to
you're
the
right.
agenda.
Exactly. Yeah, we won't.
That sounds like
Well,
that's.
it sounds like something we need to put on our agenda.
Okay, I will do that. We can talk about that.
Gentlemen, lady, I need to.
Okay.
You're gonna stay.
Right, you can go.
Anything else? Okay.
Is this mine?
That's all yours.
Okay.
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 If you have any questions, just give me a call.
All right.
Okay.
It was nice meeting you.
You too.
More that we will need to consider, and I'm just going to leave this for you, more that we will need to consider,
Yeah.
is the actual line items. This is FY23 is a new contract year for contract ops.
Yeah.
Our electric budget goes up 2% every year by contract.
What's the budget do?
Insurances, well, you know,
Last week,
she hasn't gotten the rest of the numbers to me. She's still working.
November,
Yes,
December 13th, you know.
technically that's true, but
That one,
North Carver Water District's a special case, and in this particular, yeah, okay.
I'll leave you guys, 'cause
Okay.
you're all set with FinCom, right?
I am all set.
Thank you for
We will-
inviting.
We will.
It was nice meeting you.
We will continue the conversation.
Yeah, just, you know, get
Yep,
over me.
absolutely.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
But
Have a
again,
wonderful Christmas, if I don't see you.
You too. You as
Thank you.
well.
Mike, always a pleasure. You too.
I need 2 minutes.
Okay. Steve needs 2 minutes. Okay.
Sorry, you hijacked it, then I hijacked it.
Thanks for your input, Mike. Seriously.
I just want to be in the know since I'm running everything, like I want to understand
You're
what.
the man now. Okay, so, and just to continue with the budget here, we need to kind of look at what's going to happen maybe 18 months from now. So,
Right.
so something that you need to look at, and you know,
Well, I'm gonna look.
I know Will was interested in maybe doing surge protection within the.
I'm
within
gonna
the
look at
district.
everything she gave me tonight,
Yep.
and I will digest it before the next meeting.
Okay, so just so we can kind of infill those numbers that we need to kind of infill.
I'm glad yesterday was my last work day.
Okay, all right. So, any other updates from the operator? How's the plant's running good? you
Plan
say?
is good. I had some updates, but you guys don't do the town, so.
Yep. Well, we don't. Yeah, we don't do the town.
Right.
So
I mean,
the updates don't really include North
You guys don't need them. I told you Marion Drive, the fill station's winterized.
Okay. Good.
So that is done.
Yep.
I did the shut off notices I passed out today.
Okay.
You only had 3.
Yep.
Not a lot, but
Nope.
every dollar counts,
Yep,
as
it
always.
does. Yep.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's it for North Carver, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do some bills payable. They seemed relatively mundane this month. No big ticket items.
Copy off my notes if you can read them. I did them as I was driving my past couple days.
Oh, don't tell me that. We're driving. Oh,
Not like
That's supposed
as I'm driving, but you know, like you go to a red light, like, you know, jot something down quick.
voice memo.
Then I forget to listen to it.
All right, I need a number.
Batch number 1, $5,748.50.
That's low.
Yeah, it is. Well, electric is down because this is the sun is really low, and we're not making much. We're not spending much money on electric because the electric doesn't make much money. We're just not making as much in credits. That's all. That comes back and bites us later.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Backflow testing happened. Some lab fees. Oh, I need to talk to you about generator maintenance. Right now, we don't have FM Generator was doing our maintenance, but they didn't offer us a re-up on the annual. So, if we could look at maybe somebody to do some generator maintenance.
Sure, I can get some quotes for you.
Okay.
If you want. I don't know if Weld, I'm sure Weld comes down here. Weld does most of all of ours
Okay.
up north.
Okay.
But I can ask them,
Yep.
and there's a couple other companies that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because FM doesn't like us any more than we like them.
Okay.
So,
How many quotes would you like? You want 3, 2, 1? How many?
3.
3 quotes?
Steve says 3.
You got it.
I would say
Okay.
3.
Yep.
All right, I make a motion, we pay our bills. Batch number 1, $5,748.50.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Kevin says aye.
And batch number 2 is always the same.
Yeah, it is.
I see the bill is
6,000.
exactly the same.
Yep, it is.
I make a motion, we pay our bills. Batch number 2, $6,000 even.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Perfect. Minutes. We can't do minutes. You weren't here last
Nope.
time.
I make a motion, you
We are
carry minutes to next
We're
meeting.
going to table the minutes from November 8th until the next meeting. And then we'll have to separate the minutes because Will won't be able to vote on one and you won't be able to vote on the other.
Maybe you should put it on the agenda that way.
Okay.
Ask Jill to put it
I
on
will have that.
the agenda twice, the one that Will can vote on,
I will
and
do
the one
that.
that Will can't.
That's the stuff that Sue gave me. That's something came out of the. Oh, James Cranston. That was the guy's name from Bowler Engineering. Minutes and invoice, this is the correspondence part of this meeting. That was the attachment of the agenda. Backflows have been billed. There was a question about Carver Library. That's what she sent me. She wanted to know which one of the backflows was ours, and the town of Carver Library was not. Went to somebody else. Water consumption report for Braddock Way. I don't know why Bay State. Why does Bay State Sewage need to know what the water consumption for Braddock Way was? Any ideas?
No, we don't have sewage.
Bay State Sewage. They probably pumped the septic tank, so they want to know how much water they were using.
That should be based on the number of gallons in the tank.
I would think so. Anyway, we sent it.
That's the way I pay for it.
Shut-off notices were sent out. That was me getting in touch with Alan. Recording secretary is now, or is still, under the control of the North Carver Water District. Recording secretary is happy about that. That is Historic District. Minutes.
You're killing a lot of trees.
Yeah, I am. Small Water Systems had a management change. That's you. That's Historic District.
Now, will you be coming to the meetings? See, we never met Dave. Dave just, he'd call on the phone.
But Mike was always here, right?
Yes, Mike.
Well, it's been since March.
Exactly.
Mike's very faithful to us.
Mike was always here.
Well, he lives like 15 minutes away.
Right, I know.
Oh, we love Mike.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll love you.
I love Mike. I love Mike.
Yeah, once Mike comes back, I'll probably come like every other meeting, just with him.
Okay.
But until he's back ready, it'll be me.
Hazard mitigation plan, that's not North Carver Water District. All right, I think that's it. Wait a minute. It's budget, it's budget, it's budget. Big pile of paper since last month. Nope, not that. Oh, a public records request. You might know something about this. An individual on Plymouth Street has asked for a public records request to the Select Board, Town Administrator, Board of Health, Planning, North Carver Water District, for any documents that may involve payments to anyone who lived on Lakenham Drive. If the request was about compensating people on Lakenham Drive for the loss of their wells, this would have been way back in the day.
No, we never. No. Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Not that I knew of it either. So that was.
And to my knowledge, none of the wells that were polluted by the United States government ever got any compensation.
That's well above my pay grade. The U.S. government, the Air Force?
I mean, the whole idea was they paid for the pipe.
Yes.
They paid for the pipe. They paid for the hookups. Lakenham Drive, we paid for the pipe. We paid for the hookups.
Exactly. And that's also
to my knowledge, there was no compensation paid to anybody.
Okay. Not to my knowledge either, but that was again before my time. All right. That was the end of my correspondence.
All right, I need to know what the second Monday in January is.
The 10th.
Yep.
I'll make a motion. Our next meeting is January the 10th, 2022 at 5:30.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.